Good morning. I'm Steve Batty, Director of Sustainability within Equans. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time with you today just to talk about activity what Equans are doing around retrofit, but also more importantly what we're actually doing in Birmingham City Council on their ambitious retrofit scheme. So just a little bit of background with Equans just initially. So for those that don't know, we're a Tier 1 contractor. We're able to provide full turnkey decarbonisation service for social housing clients. Over the last few years in particular, we've delivered over £350 million of SHDF funded projects for clients across SHDF pilot scheme, SHDF Wave 1 and Wave 2. And they've covered a myriad of different types of properties, so traditional and non-traditional high-rise properties, low and high-rise flats. We've looked at multiple blended solutions, whether that be Eco, Hug, SHDF, GBIS. We've worked across the whole spectrum of funding schemes. And like I said, we're able to deliver a full turnkey solution for our clients. In terms of what that turnkey solution looks like and what we worked with Birmingham City Council on their retrofit scheme on, it really looks and concentrates on the circle to the right hand side, the little diagram there. So it starts off with understanding the baseline stock. So we will work with clients to understand what the starting point is and what their existing portfolio looks like. It's on any retrofit project, it's important to understand where you're starting from and where you want to go, and that allows you to ultimately decide what interventions you want to put in place to get to where you actually want. The next stage of that is the business planning process and start actually having a look at, right, if we're wanting to get to an EPCC or an EPCB or an EPCA, or it may be a space heating demand target, or it might be a net zero target what we're aiming to actually get to. But it's going through that business planning process to have a look at what are the interventions, how much is it going to cost, what does it mean to residents, what does it mean to their residents' bills, and what does it mean to ultimately the social landlord and the client in terms of life cycle costings, maintenance and the initial investment cost. And then we go on to the annual scheme development, which is what we did on SHDF Wave 2.1 for Birmingham, where we do the annual, what we call the annual scheme development, but that's putting a project together. So in Birmingham's case, it's taking 63,000 houses and then getting to 1,600 houses, which we ultimately put forward into an SHDF bid and agreeing what we want to do, and then ultimately it goes through into delivery and then into the handover and monitoring phase. And from an Equans perspective, we can cover the full PAS 2035 process. So we've got our own in-house retrofit coordination team, and we also have our own in-house retrofit PAS compliance team that look after making sure everything's done from a PAS compliant point of view. And one of the things what's been learned, and I've put this slide on, it's from the DESNZ evaluation report, particularly looking at SHDF pilot scheme. But as you can see on here, the bid went live in 2020 and funding got awarded back end of 2020, early 2021, and all projects were supposed to be finished within a year. So they were all supposed to be finished by March 2022. Out of all the pilot schemes what got awarded money, not one of them completed on time. And thankfully DESNZ have learnt the lessons, and likewise others contractors, and I know a lot of clients have also learnt the lesson in terms of to deliver retrofit in 12 months is extremely challenging. Now it's actually gone on to DESNZ give you 2 years, and then if we're looking at SHDF Wave 3, the thought process around that is might be going out to 3 years. So it's good that sufficient time is now going to be given to SHDF schemes. Focusing on the Birmingham retrofit scheme, this is one what we're working in partnership with Birmingham City Council on, and we're delivering. The Equans side of this project was a very ambitious scheme with Birmingham City Council, so it's circa 1,600 properties what are involved. The total value of the scheme is £111 million, and we managed to secure Birmingham £24 million of SHDF funding to support the scheme. Now, with such a large number of properties, we broke this down for delivery into 7 work streams, And you've got a whole host of different solutions within here what Birmingham wanted to look at. So we've got 2 whole house retrofit schemes, which is stream 1 and stream 2, so that's across some non-traditional cross-wall properties and some low-rise flats. You can see those in the picture on the right hand side, the cross-wall properties at the top picture, the low-rise flats at the bottom, but they're getting a whole house retrofit solution of external wall insulation, new windows, doors, PV and battery, and then all these properties have all got the ventilation upgrade as well. We've then got some low-rise flats, so there's 300 low-rise flats where we're just looking at external wall insulation, new windows and doors, so it's mainly a fabric upgrade. We've got some high-rise flats, so there's 12 blocks of flats where we're looking at some really high-rise and then some mid-rise flats which are typically 7 to 8 stories high, where we're doing external wall insulation, windows, doors, balcony enclosures, roof insulation. We've got some non-traditional BISFs, which again 189 of those, mainly fabric upgrades, EWI, windows, doors, loft insulation. And then we've got some off-gas properties where we're purely looking at a technology-led approach on there, where we're putting air source heat pumps in, so low carbon heating. And then we've got 369 traditional properties where we're looking at a technology-led approach where we're putting solar PV on and doing basic fabric upgrades of cavity and loft insulation. And then across all of those schemes, the digitalisation and monitoring, so we can actually evaluate the performance of the properties and what works best, so Birmingham can get some real learnings out of this project. The real keys to a successful delivery and why this scheme is successful at this moment in time, it's the early engagement of the project delivery team. So at the very bid stage, so when we started doing the business planning for this scheme, we were going back to probably 9 months prior to the SHDF bid coming out in November 2023. So we started the business planning process on this in January of 2023. And at that point in time, we'd start doing some energy modelling, giving scenarios to Birmingham of costs, what sort of solutions were available for the different types of stock. And then we led on to the actual SHDF bid, what was coming out. So at the SHDF bid, because we're an incumbent partner with Birmingham, the project delivery team was able to input directly into the bid. So we had the client, Birmingham City Council involved, we had our in-house retrofit coordinators, we had designers, we had commercial lead, and we also had the operational staff who were actually going to deliver the scheme. So what that enabled us to do was put a really comprehensive bid together, which the delivery team was bought into and could seamlessly flow through into mobilisation and delivery. As part of that process, it's key that you get a realistic mobilisation programme and you identify the resources what are required, and you embed the PAS process throughout that mobilisation programme, and you get the programme buy-in from people what need to input into it. So how long is the designer going to take, how long does the operational team need for delivery, and get all that brought in to that mobilisation process. The third part is really establishing clear governance and structure. So within the client group with Birmingham Council, we've established a core group. We have weekly progress meetings on every single work stream. So everything's feeding up into that core group and that delivery team. And understanding your management information, survey, design, cost, programme. Have you got an appropriate IT solution where we're going to be able to put all that information and share it? There's an awful lot of data what goes into an SHDF project of this scale. Making sure the whole team understand the PAS. They don't need to be experts in it. We've got compliance teams, retrofit coordinators and designers what are experts in PAS. But the operational and site management team is key that they understand the principles of it and what they're actually going to be delivering. And upskilling those people is all for the greater good of the project. And then it seems simple, but the key thing really is getting the appropriate experience, the qualification and the accreditations. So getting the right people in the right place, and we're blessed on this project at Birmingham that we have got some excellent delivery staff and excellent support staff around it, which is making it a success. So thank you for listening. If you've got any questions, I'll be available for question and answer in the panel after. Thank you.